As I pour my tea into this empty cup, I get a beautiful cup of warm tea that I can enjoy. But if I keep pouring past the rim, as you can see, the tea begins to overflow because there isn't any room left to hold the tea. And now, instead of relaxing and enjoying a warm cup of tea, an emergency takes place where I have to run to get towels to clean up the mess, and my body has moved into panic. And moreover, I might even physically hurt myself from the scorching tea. That's what's happening to you. When your life has shifted from stressful to chronic, the body can no longer take any more, and it starts going haywire on you. Maybe it starts in the form of headaches, and it just goes downhill from there. Anxiety, it can be really debilitating. Sometimes it's a constant nervousness that can lead to panic attacks, but when it's moved to the body, that's where it can become chronic. In other words, no longer tolerable. It's now become over the top where the body can no longer sustain. And what can often happen is it can send you to bed for sometimes up to months. Your world, it becomes smaller and smaller as you find yourself staying away from situations that trigger fear and anxiety. You get your groceries delivered because what if you have a panic attack in the store? You no longer go out with friends for the same reason. And the anxiety, it gets worse if left untreated, because at one point it develops as pain in the body, like perhaps chest pains, and no matter what doctor you see regarding this, they all tell you that there isn't anything wrong. Yet every time that you have another pain, you believe that it's your heart, which makes you feel alone because doctors are ignoring you and the pain sends you into another crippling panic attack. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get checked out if you have chest pains, you definitely do, but if they're constantly telling you nothing's wrong with you, for others it's pain elsewhere, like stomach or liver area, and every time that you feel pain anywhere in your body, the amygdala, it starts to signal danger again, and your brain now thinks that you have these diseases. Fear has now become a constant in your life, and you've become a hypochondriac, or rather in today's new world from the DSM-5, Somatic Symptom Disorder, SSD, which is about having physical symptoms, and for others, illness anxiety disorder, IAD, where the thoughts are constant regarding having a serious illness when no evidence suggests that, or the symptoms are mild. But what's actually happening here is when chronic stress moves into the body, it's no longer just psychological. It becomes neurological and physiological. When someone lives under constant stress, the brain, it doesn't process it as something that happened. It processes it as something that is still happening. At the center of this is the amygdala, the brain's threat detector. The amygdala's job is simple: to keep you alive. It scans for danger. And when it senses threat, it activates the fight or flight response. And that's helpful in real emergencies, but under long-term emotional stress, emotional neglect, ongoing conflict, narcissistic abuse, betrayal, instability, the amygdala never gets the signal that the danger has passed. So it stays switched on. With chronic stress, the amygdala becomes hyper-reactive. It starts interpreting neutral body sensations as danger. A small change in heart rate, threat. A tight chest, something's wrong. A wave of fatigue or dizziness, panic. The amygdala then sends an emergency signal to the body through the autonomic nervous system, releasing stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. And this is where panic attacks begin, not as fear, but as misfiring survival responses. Panic attacks are not in your head. They are your body obeying the brain's false alarm. Once the amygdala pulls the alarm, your heart rate spikes, breathing becomes shallow or rapid, muscles tense, blood flow shifts away from digestion and towards survival. The body floods with adrenaline. The brain then feels the body's reaction, and then it interprets it as proof that something is wrong. And this creates a feedback loop. Body sensation, amygdala panic, more body sensation, more panic. Stress moves into pain. Over time, chronic activation does something else. The nervous system, it stops returning to baseline. Muscles remain tight. The gut becomes inflamed. Immune responses stay elevated, so the person finds themselves constantly getting sick. No immune system. Pain pathways become sensitized. They become overly sensitized. You feel every little thing that's going on in the body, which in turn sends you back into another anxiety attack. This is why people under long-term stress develop chronic neck, jaw, or shoulder pain, migraines or tension headaches, IBS and digestive issues, chest pains with no cardiac issues, fibromyalgia, like body pain, and extreme unexplained fatigue where sometimes they can't even get out of bed. The body is exhausted from being on high alert. Normally the prefrontal cortex, the rational grounding part of the brain, it helps calm the amygdala by saying we're safe now. But chronic stress, it weakens that connection. So the amygdala starts running the system without oversight. That's why people say, I know logically I'm fine, but my body doesn't believe it. My panic comes out of nowhere. My body reacts before I can think. That's not weakness, that's neurobiology. This is also why talking yourself out of a panic attack doesn't always work. Positive thinking doesn't stop the symptoms. Logic cannot override the reaction because the amygdala doesn't respond to logic. It responds to felt safety. Until the nervous system learns repeatedly that the threat is over, the body continues to brace for impact. So what looks like anxiety, panic, or pain is actually the body saying, I adapted to survive something that never stopped. Healing doesn't start by silencing the body. It starts by retraining the nervous system and restoring a sense of safety, slowly, consistently, and compassionately. So how do we start feeling safe again when we've been in this constant feeling of fear running through both the body and mind? We've tried the forgiveness work. We've tried the I am worthies. We've tried trauma work, and we've tried meditations till the cows came home. And I'm not saying these modalities shouldn't be applied. We absolutely should. But I'm talking about when the body has moved past one more sleepless night or a couple of migraines. I'm talking about when the system has become completely out of whack. And at this point, it's safety first that you need to address and rewire, which means working with the body, because you've spent way too long trying to fix this. A lot of you here have had this mindset since childhood, responsible for fixing things for everyone around you, everyone but you. And in this, no one was really there to support you. A chair can support a body, but at one point, if you put too much weight on it, the chair's going to give in. It'll no longer be capable of holding anything, just like the teacup. Let's take a look at something that we can do to start feeling safe. And this is going to feel good in the moment, but you can't just do this one time or on your next panic attack here. It's something that can be used as a constant practice for a while until the rewiring has taken place, until the body is filled with memories of safety rather than fear. We need to teach the body, not so much the mind right now. What I'd like to suggest is the hug. I mean, think about it. What do hugs do? They make us feel safe, right? When is the last time that someone hugged you? And I'm not talking about a hello or a quick goodbye hug. I mean a deep, long, loving, warm, and safe hug. So what I want you to do is I want you to hold yourself. Touch your shoulder and run it up and down your arm. And this is somatic, not symbolic. It has a very, very real effect on safety in the nervous system. Slow, rhythmic touch, like running a hand up and down the shoulder and the arm, it speaks directly to the somatic nervous system, bypassing conscious thought. It doesn't calm you because it's comforting in a psychological sense. It calms you because of how the nervous system is rewired. The skin contains C-tactile afferent fibers, CT fibers. These receptors are specifically tuned to slow, gentle, rhythmic touch, skin-to-skin contact, touch that signals care, not threat. When these fibers are activated, they send signals to the insula, the brain area responsible for internal safety, body awareness and emotional regulation, not the fear centers. And this is crucial. CT fibers do not activate the amygdala, they down-regulate it, which is what you want. When the arm is stroked slowly, CT fibers fire. The insula, it interprets the sensation as safe social contact. The parasympathetic nervous system is activated. The heart rate begins to slow, muscle tone softens, cortisol decreases, and vagal tone increases. And this sends a bottom-up message to the brain that there is no immediate danger. The amygdala responds by lowering its alarm state. The shoulder to arm pathway is loaded with proprioceptive and interoceptive input. Where am I in my body? It answers questions like, example, am I grounded? You get this input through touch along limbs like shoulder to arm. When someone is anxious or panicking, proprioception is often offline. The person feels disconnected, unanchored, out of the body, like they're shrinking, expanding, or not quite here. The touch along the arm, it gives the brain a clear map of the body again. It regulates. Interoceptive input is what's happening inside of me. Interoception is your awareness of internal body signals. It monitors heart rate, breathing, temperature, muscle tension, hunger, nausea, fullness, and emotional sensations. The problem under chronic stress is that interoception becomes threat biased. The brain starts interpreting normal sensations as danger, a fast heartbeat, panic, tight chest, something's wrong, shallow breath, impending collapse. Gentle, slow touch shifts interoception from alarm to safety. It helps the body register. My breath is slowing, my muscles are softening, I'm settling, and I am safe. It changes how the amygdala interprets what's happening. You need both for safety. Proprioception grounds you in space, interoception reassures you inside yourself. So together they tell the nervous system, I know where I am and I'm okay here. That's the felt sense of safety. The arm contains large muscle groups. Again, that's the proprioception. Rich sensory nerve endings is the interoception, a long, predictable pathway the brain can track. Slow movement down the arm, it gives the nervous system direction, rhythm, completion. It's organizing. And this area, it helps the brain map the body's boundaries. It signals containment and grounding, and it reorients attention out of threat and into the present moment. It also avoids the chest or torso, which can feel invasive when someone is dysregulated. That's why this touch feels safe, regulating, and non-threatening, especially during panic or shutdown. The amygdala doesn't learn through language, it learns through sensation and repetition and predictability. So even when someone is panicking without a reason, this type of touch, it communicates safety directly to the body without requiring belief, insight, or memory. So this week and on, I want you to practice this as often as you can. I want you to move your hand up and down slowly and gently. And when you feel compelled, I want you to give yourself a hug in between and tell yourself things like, it's okay, you are safe, you're okay, touch your heart if you want. And whatever you feel that you want to hear, like, I love you, you're doing your best, and I forgive you. Whatever needs to be said, you're training your body to be safe. And of course, there are many other soma techniques that you can use, which I'll be talking about in different videos. But for now, I want you to start there. Do it often. So thank you for watching. And if this has helped anyone, type in a yes in the comment section or click a like and subscribe or all of the above. So take care, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.